Coming up on the Santana Moss Show podcast, we'll talk about Christmas in 2018 and then how we bought in 2019. Woo!
Culture vultures. Where's the state of the Redskins culture?
Speaking of culture vultures, they did my boy DJ Swearinger wrong. I'm just saying, but Tana knows what really happened.
We got them picks, and it's playoffs time. And you know what, Trav? I think I beat you last time around.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I just know this. College football playoffs are terrible, in the words of Charles Barkley. They need to do something, Tanner. This is ridiculous. And what's going on with the U, man?
That boy Trav took a chalupa of a L. Let him talk about it.
Not a chalupa. You know what? With that, let's just start the damn show.
It's a Santana show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.
Now I'm ready to go. Happy New Year from the Santana Moss Show. 2019, baby. Woo! I wish I had one of those noisemakers.
I'm getting my selfies on right now.
You getting your selfies on? Yeah, that's what we doing in 2019.
We doing new things, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
New year, new selfies.
I got to make sure they know what time it is. It's Tana, man.
Well, hell, man, you should at least got a selfie stick for 2019, dog, if that's the way you living. What's happening?
I'm good, baby.
Happy New Year to you, bro.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you all.
Yes.
Let's rewind a little bit, because Lord knows we ain't got nothing to talk about with the Redskins. But you ain't heard that from me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's rewind a little bit and go back to Christmas, because I know you went down to the MIA.
Trey 05.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas was a nice Christmas this year. I was in the spirit this year. Last year I wasn't in the spirit as much.
We flip-flop, because I was drenched in a mug this year.
I was in the spirit because I guess I was to the point to where I'm like, okay, I understand this is what it's going to be now. I'm giving out a lot of money, buying a lot of things that probably doesn't even matter. You know, this is what I have to be. I have to be Santa. I had to be Santana Claus to everybody these days. But no, I had a great Christmas because some of the things I did with my foundation. You know, giving back to some of the people that are less fortunate, and then being able to go back to Miami. I told you I've been enjoying my Christmas being away from Miami. I only had 2 in the last 18 years.
You were there
in Miami.
Damn. Oh, because you bring the family.
2015, I was done with football, so I was home. And then this past Christmas, I went back home to the family. So it's kind of odd to be in Miami doing Christmas, but this Christmas in Miami was a good one. You know, I got a chance to go back to my old stomping ground and just enjoy that atmosphere. And be home with the family. You know.
Damn, Tana, you wouldn't think that, but it makes sense.
Because I'm always playing. I mean, you got to think, from 2001 until 2014, I was literally, either in New York or Washington, and I was spending Christmas wherever I was at. So, it's a little different.
So I was a little bit of a Grinch this year because it was weird, Tana. Like, Christmas snuck up on me on a personal level, but not from the gifts side of things, right? Like, I planned all my gifts ahead of time. This is like year 3 or 4 where I've done completely online shopping. I don't go in stores anymore.
Like the store shopping,
I can't do it, bro. Like, it's too much. I get I'll have like a panic attack or something. I just can't do it. So I get all my gifts, and now, you can order gifts pre-wrapped, the whole deal.
Yeah.
So I do that. So I was on point there for Christmas, but personally in my spirit, I was working so much that I looked up and it was Christmas Eve, and I was like, well, damn,
man, I haven't.
And then, like, the roller coaster ride of working all the time, and then it just stops for like a week. I didn't even know what to do with myself. Like, I was off, but I was mentally, it took me a while. And by the time I came around, got in the Christmas spirit, got in the holiday spirit, it was over, and I was back to work.
What I've come to realize is that, and I used to always wonder that as a kid, and I remember those Christmases where my parents would make sure we had everything we wanted, but it was like a regular day for them. And I remember them sitting there like, hey, we up early. They cared less if we got up, what time we got up. They wasn't finna get up and make no breakfast. Right.
They tell you be quiet.
Look, at the end of the day, they come out and take a picture. I don't know if we even took pictures back then. Because we wasn't one of those families that, saved a lot of pictures.
Right.
I think that's why I'm one of those guys that I am now today. I don't really capture a lot of those moments, which I should, because you don't have to be who you were. You couldn't be something different.
Well, hell, you just took 20 selfies to start the damn show.
It's a little different. I might use one of them. You know, I kind of get like the ladies these days. I'm like, why are you?
This angle is off.
You're around them enough, you be like, you took 15 pictures and I only seen one. So now I know how it works.
And then for New Year's, what'd you do for New Year's?
You know what? New Year's has always been the same. If I wasn't playing, because normally, you know, as a player, New Year's Eve, we either in a hotel getting ready for a game that's around that time, depending on how it falls, what weekend it falls on, what day it falls on. For the last few years that I haven't been playing, I kept the same regimen. I'm like, look, you know, as a kid, I never went out. You know, I remember growing up, spending my New Year's in the house at times. My mom probably out working her second job. My dad probably out working his job. And I remember just being on the ground a lot with my younger brothers, like, because people outside shooting, you know, they crazy in those. And in the neighborhood I grew up in, you know, you wake up and go outside the next morning, you can see the stop sign tore up because some idiot wanted to shoot the stop sign up, and then you find out that a friend of yours went to a party and didn't come back. You know what I mean? He didn't make it. So I was always terrified of not making it into the new year. So I would say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing anything New Year's Eve. Let me make it to the new year. This year I had a friend in town, and he was craving to go out like every day. Hey, what we doing? What we doing? What we doing? And at that point, I never had made any plans, which, you know, I don't make plans. Yeah. And I said at the last minute, you know what? Let's go into a bar across the street at One Loudon. And I literally sat in there and listened to everybody. It was rocking. The bar was jumping. Everybody and their mom was in there. And I was bumped into about 100 times. And when they found out who they was bumping into, they went and told me the story about how long ago they've been wearing my jerseys, and that made me feel a little old. Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, you know, when this thing drop and everyone say Happy New Year, I'm going to find my way back to the house.
Ghost.
And I remember, you know, everybody, I remember calling my kids and everybody, calling the family and saying Happy New Year. And before you know it, about 12, 15, I was back in my couch just sitting there watching TV.
Damn.
So, you know, that was my New Year. But I'm okay with that. I don't need more, man. I done done so much. Yeah. You know, folks be saying like, hey, I live life, and before you know it, I woke up, I was old. Man, when I get old, I'm going to be saying, boy, I live, you know, because I've done so much, and I don't feel like I have to do anything extra on New Year's Eve to bring in the new year. I'm satisfied with what I've done, you know, pre-New Year's Eve, because it's been a struggle, but it's been a grind at the same time. As long as I accomplish what I set out to accomplish, I'm okay with that. I don't have to party to do it.
And you're even for New Year's resolutions, you're not a big resolution guy.
No. You know, we was talking about that, you know, pre-show, and I was saying I'm not a planner.
Right.
So, you know, I'm a guy. I'm as easy as it come. I like to, you know, find myself. I go with the wind. Wherever direction it blows me in, I'm there.
Right.
I don't want to be the guy to say, well, I want to do this, because I've known of people setting goals and plans and don't, you know, are not able to go out there and see them through. You know, I'm a guy that I stick to the same script. I'm going to grind to get what I want. Whatever I did last year, I want to do it a little harder. I want to have it a little better. That's all I'm about. I'm about going after things that I want, and I don't have to go out there and say I'm going to get it. No, as long as you know you have it set in mind, go out there.
This is the life of a go-getter, go-getter. Tanner, I'm about to take the air out of the room. Ready?
Oh, Lord. Let me give me a drink.
Yeah, me too. You know what? Here's a toast. Here's a toast to
beat your ass.
A little beat your ass, and a brighter 2019, hopefully.
Yeah, no doubt.
The Redskins went 7-9 again.
Oh, Lordy.
Can we talk about culture, please?
Culture.
What is wrong with the culture of this franchise?
You know what? I didn't have to dig too deep when it comes to talking about culture, talking about the team culture. Yeah. I believe that the culture of any team is manifested through the coaches or the coach.
Fair enough.
I think the head coach sets the tone and allows you to say, this is what I want. He allows the team to be what he wants the team to become.
Right.
You know, whatever he instructs or whatever he puts in us from day one, that's who you are.
It takes on his likeness.
It takes on his likeness. It takes on who he is as a person and as a coach. And I think when it comes down to the Redskins, we never, you know, through the regime that's there on there right now, they have not yet found their identity.
Right.
You know, it's years where we passed the ball a lot. We didn't run. We lost. It's years like this year where we ran the ball a lot. To me, if we didn't run the ball enough, we lost games. When we did run the ball enough, we lost games. But the one thing that helped us be a contender this year was running the ball and playing good defense early in the season.
Right.
And you should always have something that you can, lean on as a team. At the end of the day, regardless of what circumstances you go through or what situation you put in, you can say at the end of the day, I prepared these guys to be able to move in this direction, regardless of who's at the helm, regardless of who's up there, being number 1, number 2, number 3, that they all can take on the same, job and do it well. And I don't feel that we have that. And that's why you see the lackluster play from our teams. That's why you see us 7-9, not making the playoffs a second or a third year in a row. And until we find our identity, until, the coach at helm say, hey, this is what we got to become. Right now, we already haven't been the team that I wanted you to be since I've been here. This is what we have to become. The years that we went to the playoff, the year that we went to the playoff, the year that we had a winning season, we was able to do this, and that. We have to get back to that. Until he puts that foot down and says that, then that's what they can move in that direction. But right now, the reason why they at 7-9, the reason why we saw so much going on with our team this year is because I don't think it was implemented.
When we talk about culture, okay, when you look at the DJ Swearinger situation, I can't help but to feel like the culture that you talk about, how it manifests itself, I can't help but to think any other team, even if they got rid of DJ, would trade him, get something back. The fact that this team just cut him and let him go. Santana, did the Redskins drop the ball on that?
No question.
Forget who's right or wrong and the drama.
Question.
I don't care about that. From an organizational standpoint, did they drop the ball on just letting this man walk out of our life nothing?
It simply makes no sense when it comes down to how that situation was handled.
Right.
Trust me, I was hot. I mean, when I heard him sitting there like...
Well, he's your friend, too.
And that's one thing. But when it comes to what I feel for this team, who I am behind this team, what I represent, when it comes to how I walk these streets, I'm a Redskin through and through. I say it all the time. And I know the direction that we're trying to go. I know what we want. I know from the owner standpoint, I know what he's been trying to implement into us from day one, what he's about, how he likes, regardless of what people say about Dan Snyder. But from an organization, from a team, I didn't understand them just saying, okay, we cutting ties.
Just let him walk.
I didn't understand it because regardless of what was said or done, I've seen those matters handled differently. I've seen coaches step in and say, look here, maybe I dropped the ball. Maybe I dropped the ball. Maybe you didn't get what I was trying to tell you the first time. So I'm going to take that on the chin. It's my fault. It's my fault. I'm going to understand that you didn't understand what I was trying to say to you. So this is what you got to be dealt with. Now, if I have that problem again, it ain't going to be no talking. It's going to be you trying to find another place or trying to find another job.
But that would be clear.
It would be clear. If you wasn't clear the first or second or third time.
Right.
Well, third time, I'm sure he wasn't clear because he was out the door.
He was out of the door.
And I can understand that. But I just didn't understand saying, I'm going to cut you and be done with you because to my understanding, this guy was a Pro Bowl talent.
Yeah. Leader.
For you to be an alternate, this year in the Pro Bowl, last year you stepped in, day one, we gave you the captain title.
Sure did.
The last 2 years you've been here, we allowed you to speak your mind.
Sure have.
It was okay, but until you start speaking your mind, which we understand you can't share, outside, you can't share with the outside our house business.
He did not handle losing well.
He didn't.
He just didn't.
But I think you could have found a way early.
Right.
And nip that in the bud.
Right.
Because he understood enough to where even when he was wrong, he never left himself out of the equation. When he talked about
sure did.
Your junk, he said, you know what?
I got to be better.
I got to be better.
Yeah, he did.
I missed tackles.
He did.
I did this and that wrong. Because this guy was about what he did. And he knew at the end of the day, I put too much time into this with my study habits, with how I see things, to allow me to sit here and blame anybody. Yeah, I'm going to blame what I thought was wrong, but at the same time, if I was wrong, then I'm wrong too. I'm wrong with those guys. And did he handle that situation right by coming out and calling out coaches? No. I don't think no player should be in that situation or be that disgusted with what their performance was and blurt out what you thought should have happened differently until you got a chance to sit down and really watch the game. You know, I was always one of those guys that if I ain't got nothing to say bad about myself, I ain't saying nothing at all about no one else because it's always me first. You know, and when it comes to talking, if you ask my opinion, I'm going to speak my opinion about myself before I say about you or anybody else. Now, if you want to say, hey, Tanner, you know, how was the outcome of the game, what you thought about the game, I tell you that, man, we should have played better. We, as in all of us, and the reason why we in the situation we in, because we didn't go out there and get the job done. Boop, nip that, and I'm going about my business. He was a guy that passionate about everything, and I do believe a lot of stuff he said was correct because you don't lose to Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
I know we weeks away from that. We weeks removed from that.
No
you don't
kidding.
lose to Blaine Gabbert.
No kidding.
You don't go out there and sack Mariota 3 times in the first half.
Knock him out.
And don't touch a whisker on Blaine Gabbert in the second half.
Right.
So what he was saying was correct, I believe. My opinion, I believe. And the reason why he was fire hot because he felt like I felt you don't lose to that guy. Mm-hmm. And the situation they was in on that third down that caused them to get an extra down and end up having a touchdown to go up on them.
Right.
You know, it could have cost all that stuff that he said, and I think it should have. But as a team, as an organization, you express how you want to deal with them situations day one. So a player in that situation, like Swearinger or anybody else, know that at the end of the day, regardless if we wrong or you wrong, don't express your feelings to the public.
You know, I've been around you long enough, we've been friends long enough where I've walked the streets with you. I've been out in the DMV with you, and I see and I feel the love you get from Redskins fans all over the DMV, okay? I've been in the city, and I've been in the boonies with you, and it's the same love. So I want to ask you, when you look at the heat that is on this franchise right now and how fed up the fans are with this franchise right now, the block is hot, Tana. Mm-hmm. What, for you personally, what is your message to Redskins fans as it pertains to their vitriol right now for this franchise?
That's a good question. And do I have the right answer for them? No. The message would be, though, is I understand what's going on. I understand that a lot of things are not to our liking. You know, as fans, as a guy that's an alumni, that's an ex-player, you know, it's a lot of things. When I stepped into those stadiums this year, I was so happy to be back and just to be able to sit and watch the first half of some of those games before I went to work. And when I looked around, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with the outcome of where our fan base was at. I was disappointed with just the whole feeling and the vibe of the stadium because it didn't feel like I felt coming out of that tunnel, hearing all those fans roar, regardless of what we was doing that year. Either we was up or down, and half of those years we was pretty down. We wasn't a team that was successful enough to go to playoffs that much. We went 3 and 10 years that I was here. But the atmosphere always stayed the same. So I understand what they're going through. I understand in order for you to have change or see change, you have to make a stance. That's what this world is about. We make stance these days to say, hey, we want something done differently. So if you're going to not come because of something that you're not liking, whether it's the expensive tickets, whether it's the expensive food, whether it's the way you have to park and walk to the stadium, whatever it is, the atmosphere, the entertainment, don't fall asleep on the guys that's really going out there trying to make you continue to be a fan. And the reason why I say this is because half of the reason why I played the way I played throughout those years, those 10 years here, is because of you guys, because I believed in you. At the end of the day, when I got on that knee in that end zone and I said my prayer, I said a prayer for you guys. I said a prayer for my family. I said a prayer for that name on the back. God, let me represent this name on the back on your day, regardless if it was Sunday or not. Let me be the guy that you put on this earth to play this game this day, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the outcome. Let me give these people that came out here to watch me play something to cheer about. Let them go home with the last memory of 89 going out there and give it his all. Win, lose, or draw. And so I always kept you in mind because I felt like you meant something to me. You gave me a lift when I needed that lift, and these guys need that lift. Half of the reason why they out there not playing the way they're supposed to play, yeah, we understand they get paid to play this game. They should go out there and perform better. But a lot of that stuff rests on you guys too. That feeling we feel in there, I understand that we sell a lot of tickets to the opposing team. It's all in the game. We have no control over that. But we can control what you guys can control, and that's just coming out and showing out for them. So regardless of what you feel this year, regardless of what's coming to us next year, I hope you have it in your heart enough to say, guess what? I'm a Redskin. And under whatever circumstances it is, we have to show up and show out. And in order for us to be successful, we have to go out there and step our game up too by cheering these guys on. And if you can do that, I'm sure it's going to be different. It has to be different because an organization can't stand allowing their team to be where we've been at the last few years. You can't be an organization. Sooner or later, you're going to find yourself, dismissed some kind of way. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to just happen like that because the Redskins have been around for a long time and they have a lot of tradition behind them with the Super Bowls and with some of the great teams. But it's hard to see this team stand alone and not overcome some of the things that, they're going through right now. So I'm sure that the fans can overcome some of the hate that they have or some of the things that they don't see that's pleasant enough and be those fans again.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't feel Santana Moss' heartfelt pump-up speech, you need to check your pulse because I'm going to tell you, if this podcast don't work out, you could be a motivational speaker. I got to sip little beat man. Your ass after that.
But it's just from the heart, man. I really believe in, what they bring to the game and what we should be doing to bring them or have them in those seats. And I think this offseason, the organization will sit down and realize, look, we have to
it's a big offseason.
Temper down a little bit on some of the things that we've been causing.
Yeah, buddy.
Because a lot of that stuff has been caused by some of the guys that's not playing the game.
That's right.
And
it's a big offseason, bro.
It's a huge offseason. And I think if they can, have an understanding with what they're wrong at, then it's no reason for the fans not to show back up and say, you know what, we accept that apology. Because I think correcting your mistakes alone should be
admitting you're wrong.
Admitting you're wrong.
Yeah.
All
right, let's run through these Wildcard playoff games, rapid fire style. The Redskins are 7-9. They didn't make it. Okay, it is what it is. There are other teams playing though, so I just want to get your picks before we move on. Colts at Texans. Who do you like in that game?
Oh, man.
That's tough.
Luck threw for almost 500 in the loss to the Texans the first game.
So they split.
Second game, he threw 399, and they won. Both of them hot coming into the playoffs.
That's tough.
Texans got to win. To me, the only way the Texans win, stiff defense and their run game. Their run game has stepped up this year.
Pass rush, Watt, Clowney.
Stiff defense, real stiff, getting in luck, front grill, running the ball efficient. Texans win.
I'm going Texans, too. I'm laying the points on that game. Seahawks at Cowboys. That's a tough one, bro.
Cowboys lost one game this year at home.
Yeah.
One game. Cowboys playing pretty tough at home.
Beat the Saints at home, remember?
Beat the Saints at home. Both teams are playing well. Cowboys are playing pretty tough on defense. They passing the ball a lot more on offense. Seahawks, they just one of those teams, man, I believe in, man. Russell Wilson, the whole defense they play. I mean, the Legion of Boom is gone, and they still out there flying around.
Pete Carroll's a great coach.
Pete Carroll has shown that he can be that guy. Mm-hmm. He's a leader in himself. Seahawks win.
Boy, you ain't learned yet from betting that money on them Seahawks the other week.
You're right. I lost, and the only reason why, because the Cowboys, I found that they play tough at home this year.
Yeah.
They're a team that I can't bet on all the time.
No.
I can ride with them here and there, and of course I hate them at times, but I appreciate them representing the East, them and the Eagles.
You don't believe in them,
but I don't believe them enough to be the Seahawks.
I'm picking the Cowboys for this show. However, in real life, I'm betting the under point total in that game. I'm not picking either team.
I'm gonna make a note to that.
I just feel like that'll be a defensive game, and it'll probably be low scoring. I hate both teams, so I don't really give a damn who wins, but I just bet the under for all my gamblers out there. Chargers at Ravens.
Ravens pounced on them guys the first game.
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. They coming here, and it's going to be pretty chilly. It's a 1 o'clock game. It's going to be pretty chilly. Jackson ran for 200+ the first game. Dixon has been balling this, throughout the whole thing with Jackson. Those guys alone, to me, give me enough notion that the Ravens should be able to win.
I'm going Chargers. Ooh. I think in the NFL, when you just played a team,
it's hard to play teams twice and beat them. No,
especially
I've been a part of that.
It's been like 2 weeks.
I've been a part of that. But
so I just feel like the Chargers will be ready.
Do you honestly believe they can come here though in the cold? Because that thing plays it has a different ball. Yeah, trust me, the cold no doubt matters.
It does, of course, it does.
And some of those guys from the cold. So yes, now I'm not saying that they can't play in it.
No, I know what you mean. Baltimore's a tough place to play. Period. It can be 80. It's a hard. M&T Bank is no joke.
If Jackson and Dixon can control the game with their run,
right,
they win.
Yeah,
if they can control it, and if they get on Rivers, like I know they're going to get at the Rivers,
of course they are.
They win.
That defense is real life. I'm going Chargers only on the sole purpose that I just think in the NFL, man, you just beat a team 2 weeks ago in their house, and let's face facts. This wasn't a late field goal from Justin Tucker. The Ravens beat their ass.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think the Chargers are going to come in here and win this game. I really do. I just think they'll be prepared. Eagles at Bears. Who do you like?
It's crazy, man, because the Bears, to me, they surprised us all this year. Bears had a great season this year. Nick Foles, man. Mm-hmm. Nick Foles. He have a shrine and everything in the locker room.
Terminator.
I don't see Nick Foles losing right now. I think if he can play like he's been playing, if he's half as decent as he's been these last few weeks, man, they win. And I think because of the defense, how they play, how they get out to the quarterback, I don't see the young kid being able to maneuver enough.
Yeah, getting
away from those guys up front. I'm gonna say Eagles. And also I was watching Good Morning Football.
Yeah.
On NFL Network, and they had a guy, a magician, some weeks ago. He came on, Colin Cloud or something like that. I'm not sure if that's his name. And he whispered in one of those guys' ear that he see those guys going to the Super Bowl again and win.
Oh, hell no.
And guess what? Everything he did that day on the show, he was dead on. But I'm not saying because of that gave me this notion. I just believe in him. I believe in Nick Foles.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, they play a little different with him. I'm not sure if it's because he's the underdog. They got the ski mask game on now. The ski mask, to me, being a guy from Miami, South Florida, that's them Jack boys.
Jack boys.
So they out there jacking it. Yeah. The Eagles are out for you. So they taking what they want, and I'm riding with them. They have a whole different mindset, and they went from the underdogs last year, putting on the dog mask, to now put on the ski mask. Like I said before, them the Jack boys. They going out there to take it from you. So I think they can take it.
I got something for that the magician you talked about. Poof, pow, the Eagles are gone. Bears are winning this game. Eagles will cover. So this is another one. I'm not
put on the Eagles will cover.
Don't do well. You think they're going to win, so bet that.
Win, but I'm betting.
I'm betting the under in that game too. I think that will be a defensive game, low scoring, kind of ugly. So I for this show will take the Bears, but I'm betting the under in that game also. I don't care who wins. All right, I want to ask you this before we get out of here.
Yeah.
What is going on at the University of Miami? So Mark Richt retires.
Yeah.
And Manny Diaz takes the job in Temple, and then 18 days later says, say what? Oh, Mark Richt retired? Yeah, I'm coming back, dog. And then busts a U-turn and comes back to Coral Gables. What's up, man? What is happening? Are you okay with the move? Like, what's going on?
Well, first of all, a lot of fans was calling for Rick's job, and I'm not sure if that was the right thing. But for him to say, hey, man, I'm ready to step down, maybe it was right for him. I'm all with whatever a guy sees that's best for his future and best for what he's going through. I understand where, when it comes down to just the wins alone, it's not something that we're satisfied with. We're not satisfied with the outcome of these past few years. The whole thing with Manny going away and, taking the job in Temple, that's unfortunate for Temple to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I understand they appreciate the buyout, but the Miami job is Manny's dream job. He stated that before. Hey, he was a guy that's born and raised there. His dad is in office there. He was a guy that grew up and saw the tradition, saw what we believed in, saw what made Miami. The things he believed in that was going to bring back the culture of Miami.
Right.
I think he's the next guy up. I think he can set the fire that we need. Defensively, I'm glad he's back because we didn't want to see that defense leave.
Oh.
First thing I said when I got a chance to talk on the ESPN about it, and they asked me about that question, I'm like, is that the last we see of the turnover chain? He brought that to us. He brought that defense playing the way the defense has been playing the last 3 years. What I was pleased to hear from him the other morning, I'm watching him, he had a chance to sit down on ESPN with the guys, Kurt Herstreet and everybody, and they asked him, how can you bring back Miami? What is going to take? And he said, man, you know what? I got to get back to the Pop Warner and see the way they play in Pop Warner. That's what I brought to my defense. The way we play, flying around, getting after the quarterback, playing fast, the turnovers, that's how Miami football is played in Miami. That's how the offense need to play. I need to get back to get the coordinator to understand that the guys that we're going to go out there and get, and it's not going to be all Miami guys, but I need you to put fear in any defense that step on the field with us, knowing that our attributes, the thing that we do well with our skill sets, the receivers, the quarterback, the running backs, tight ends, what has gotten to be one of those schools that has a great draft class, and when it comes to those positions, we need that back. We need to put fear in any defense that step on the field with us. That's what the defense has done the last 3 years. That's why the turnover chain was such a big thing, because we was going to get turnovers, we was going to fly around, we was going to play faster than you playing on offense. When I heard that, when I heard him speak like that, I'm like, that's what we need.
That's the guy.
That's the guy, because he believes in what I believe in. Regardless of where you're from, you need to strike fear in every opponent. I didn't see our offense doing that for the last few years.
No. So I'm going to come back to Miami because they're in my taking L's. Little teaser there. But before I do that, yes or no, can Clemson beat Alabama for the whole shebang-a-bang? Yes or no?
Man. It's hard to say no because I'm riding with Clemson. I want Clemson to win it. And the only reason I want them to win it because I'm so tired of seeing Alabama, man. I'm just tired of seeing the whole thing with Alabama. But I would say they covered that game.
I think they covered too.
They covered.
It's like a touchdown right now.
To me, it's hard. It's odd to see that they are allowed a young guy at quarterback to beat him. He has a lot of great talent around him.
So good though.
Missing that kid on the defensive line is going to be something that's detrimental to them. Mm-hmm. So I do believe Clemson cover, but you never know, man. They could surprise us. But
I'll take it if they win. I'm tired of them both, but I'm rooting for Clemson. I'm sick of Roll Tide. All right, taking L's. Let's stay in college football, shall we? You guys know I like to bet on games. And I bet that the Miami Hurricanes would beat the Wisconsin Badgers.
What?
I did not consult with Santana Moss first, or any of the you guys for that matter. And because of that, I'm giving myself an L.
Yeah, you need a big one.
Because Miami got their ass beat. Another team I bet on was Notre Dame, to not only cover the spread, but to win outright against the Clemson Tigers. Put an L right here. Thanks a lot, college football. And you know what? Your playoffs suck. Everyone's talking about expand to 8 teams. For what? These 4 suck.
Well, we didn't dive into that, and we probably do this on another show, but I do believe that in order for you to get these kids to play in these bowl games, you have to change something up.
No doubt.
A lot of
kids are sitting out.
A lot of the talent is saying, hey, if it's not worth anything, why play? So
no, you're right.
The playoffs, you probably put 8 teams in it. I don't know. Change it up a little bit, because that 4-team thing, it was too easy to see Clemson and Alabama. Come on. We knew that from the start of the season who was going to be in it. So in order for us to have college football where it used to be at when it comes to exciting and everyone looking forward to the bowl season, allow more teams to get into the playoff.
Well, hell, the BCS would have picked Clemson and Bama anyway, so what's the point of even having it? I know, but what's the point of even having a playoff if it's going to be those 2 teams anyways? That's all I'm saying. Hey, for the first show of 2019, we are off and running. Huh? Santana Moss Show podcast. It's a wrap. Happy New Year, y'all.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the